Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enemies and friends, welcome to the show that never ends. You are tuned into On the Reel, where we keep you up to date on the latest in the world of TV and movies. You may already know me as the one and only Everborn Saga, but joining me today, as usual, is my brother from another mother, Mr. TK0 Asante. How are you, say?
I am
Or
good.
Sourpuss Asante. You thought I was going to forget?
You gonna pull that one on me? All right. Thank you so much, Slander. I'm doing fine. I'm doing good, man. How you?
Glad to hear it. And of course, the other one and only brother from the same mother, Mr. Johnson. How are you doing today, sir?
Same old stuff, different day, bro. Happy to be alive.
Glad to hear.
So say we all.
Glad to hear. Well, we got a lot to get into this evening, and I would like to be done before 10, but we'll see how that works out. Maybe we'll go till midnight.
Today's show is sponsored by Everborn Saga, as always. And today's math. Who's responsible for this lovely hoodie I'm wearing?
If you know your 5%er, you pay attention to that.
Today's .math on Instagram.
Exactly.
Get you a hoodie.
Now, one thing I do want to point out, as they say you're supposed to say, if you're not subscribed to this channel, do so immediately, post haste, and click the like button and tell your friends about this thing, because I'm apparently very bad at reminding people of these things.
Tell a friend that it's them again.
Right.
Like, share.
So, but we do have a lot to get into. But before we do that, as we do every week, as you all know, we want to talk about what we are watching. So, Mr. K. Asante, what are you watching this week?
Besides the stuff we will be discussing heavily, I will say I'm still watching Invasion.
Oh God, no! But okay, so when Bushido gets in here, I promised him that I would watch it so we could discuss it.
Well, I'll just make just a note here. I am still watching Invasion. I still am frustrated with it, but I'm still focused.
I don't know why you're watching it, but
because I'm invested at this point. If you're past episode 6, you can't just like drop it. I have to.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You will never get this time back.
Oh, come on now. It's not.
And
that
you have not even watched The Servant on Apple TV, but you're watching Invasion. You should be ashamed.
Start Invasion, and once I'm done with the Invasion, when the season ends, maybe I'll move on to other bigger, better things. We shall see. I'm also trying to. I haven't done it yet. I may jump into the new season of Star Trek Discovery, because that's another thing that I watch. But that's what I've been watching so far. And yes, we'll talk the Masters of the Universe. We'll talk Arcane, and I've been watching that as well. I actually binged Masters of the Universe in one sitting, as well as Arcane. So we have stuff.
Arcane is a little harder to watch in one sitting.
It's much easier to watch Masters of the Universe. That's like watching a regular movie. It's only 2.5 hours. If that.
Yeah. Arcane was about 4 or 5 hours, something like that. I split it into 2 days.
Each episode was like 40 minutes, so it took me a little while. Like, okay, I watched like the first 2 episodes and then put it down for a week, and then watched the whole thing in 2 days. The other 7 episodes.
Yeah.
But
I did not know it was as good as it was. So after yourself and King gave me that recommendation, I was like, okay, I'll see what this is about. And the animation grabbed me, and the story building, like the world building, and all of that. I was hooked. So
you're going to talk about that in a minute,
2 days. But we'll get to that.
Yes. Are you watching anything else?
No. Well, lots of things, but let's focus on what we have here. So, but okay. Yes, I want to stand on the Invasion square for a while, because I know that pisses you off. Continue.
Okay. Sell me on Invasion. Matter of fact, sell LeVar on Invasion.
Okay, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. No, I'm not selling, because
in the chat.
Watching stuff for this show, bro.
No. Because the reason why I can't sell you on it is because I myself feel betrayed by it. So how am I going to sell you on it? You know what I'm saying?
That shit is like watching paint dry. No, it doesn't. It doesn't start off great. Stop lying.
Hold on. It starts off intriguing. And then it's a trap. It is a trap. It starts off like, this could be interesting. And then it stays at Like, because the tension's supposed to build, and then oh my god, it blows up, right? But the tension kind of stays at 75 for the whole day. It doesn't get to where it needs to go.
I feel like when they reveal the aliens, it's Admiral Akbar.
Actually, they've revealed the aliens, and I will say
saying it's a trap.
It's
a Star Wars joke, man.
Of course.
Come on.
Listen. They have revealed the aliens, and I will be honest, I was surprised at what the aliens were and what they look like. It feels like they did pay a bit of they did pay some attention. They did do some research on really trying to make something different, but I don't think it saves it. I don't think it saves the show. Even with interesting aliens, it doesn't save the show. But yes, I'm committed because I think 7 episodes in now, so I want to see what happens at the end. But as you said before the show, when Bushido gets in here, we'll talk about it. No, when
there's no love
in
that marriage.
The fact that we're even talking about a marriage in the first place is the problem, but that's a whole different conversation. This damn thing is called Invasion.
It takes work to watch that show.
It really does. It takes a lot of effort. It takes work. It takes patience. They're telling you the story they want to tell you, not necessarily the story you want to see. It is what it is.
Disgusting.
Yes. And yes, the rest of the stuff, the Wheel of Time and all that. But I will not sell you on Invasion because I think had I known what this was before I watched it, I probably would not have watched it. But now that I'm committed, I want to see it through to the end, so I know that it actually is the frustrating thing. Man. I'm sorry.
It's a good thing you don't sell cars.
Why? What's that? What? Oh, well, because I'm not a good car salesman.
You're not a good salesman at all.
Oh no, but that's my point. This is not a thing to be sold. I'll be honest with you. It's not.
So it's worthless.
It's not worthless. It's not worthless. I wouldn't say it's worthless. Yeah, there you go.
It's a show about feelings.
Put in there.
Nothing more than feelings.
That's right. Invasion is more about feelings than aliens. It feels like exactly my point. That's why I'm like, I can't sell you on it because it starts off with an inkling that you're like, oh wow, this will be interesting, and then just spends a lot of time in Jerry Springer land rather than actually the title of the show.
Well, if it's Jerry Springer, I can get jiggy with Jerry Springer. Oh, I see a Neo Mental in the house.
On the midgets and the trannies.
Beware.
There we go. Mr. Johnson, what are you watching besides the homework I gave you?
Mm-hmm. Besides the back of my eyelids, I finally watched Shang-Chi.
Tell us about it.
Took me forever to watch that. It was all right. It wasn't even whack. This is my thoughts on his
box quote. It wasn't even
friend. The one who people were mad at for doing her black son.
Yeah.
Her. Yes. She has no purpose there whatsoever. You were literally shooting arrows for a day, and now all of a sudden you're a marksman.
And
that made no sense at all.
You deliver the killing blow.
There's all them other people who've been training their whole life, but the person who've been training for a day, you go do that.
If Hawkeye could do it,
yeah. So also, why train Shang-Chi? He goes to his aunt. He's like, "Can you train me to do the stuff? If she already know how to do it, tell me when your father's getting here so I can stop him. Why am I training you when I already know how to take the shit from him and I could do it?"
Well, because
the movie's not called his aunt's name; it's called Shang-Chi. That's why.
That is one good reason. But
he was not needed. If she already knows how to stop him, I don't need Shang-Chi to do it.
But I don't think he would have held back if he was fighting the aunt, right? I think it's because it was his son that he needed that. And it worked narratively. Like logically, maybe it didn't make sense.
They have the power because he doesn't know that way. He just has the power from the rings. These people, that's what they trained to do. So she would have taken it from him. It wouldn't have been a thing like him holding back or nothing like that.
I don't disagree.
Well, you know what?
It's not like the aunt was sitting there chilling. She had the skill. She was even able to best Shang-Chi on there. Times.
There's no way that she would have lost.
And Shang-Chi's mom took the rings from him light work.
Exactly.
Like she was just playing around with him, throwing him in pools of water.
Yep. Yeah.
So I guess she could have taken it.
They're like cats playing with their food because really they could have sit them freaking big Asian lion dragon things on them. All that other stuff is just like they were holding back.
This is true.
They were trying to end it amicably. They even teamed up with these people to stop the shit. If they were ruthless like that, they could have killed them all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thoughts on Shang-Chi. I tried to watch Venom too, but it was too terrible.
I love that they brought back what's his name, Ben Kingsley's character from Iron Man 3.
I'm conflicted about that one. Man.
No, I liked it. I think he made.
I
it
like
work.
him as Trevor.
Trevor, yeah.
But how the mighty has fallen, old Ben Kingsley.
No. Ben Kingsley.
Kingsley does what he wants when he wants to do it. He doesn't
exactly
do this stuff.
And I do think that is the sign.
And he's still respected as an actor. When he want to get in his indie film bag, he'll do that.
But even still, I think it says something when an actor like this is an Oscar caliber actor can turn around who's known for drama work, can turn around and do comedy. Sure, that is not an easy thing to do.
Comedians
I get that. I guess what bothers me about it is not necessarily it's not necessarily bothering me that he's doing comedy. It's that many young bucks will see him and go, "Oh, the dude who plays Trevor," and that's all their only touchdown.
Then they're stupid.
Like
they're not.
You know what I'm saying?
Not worth having that mother effer appropriated Gandhi.
Exactly.
Don't forget.
Just like
exactly.
He did great in that role.
Yes, he did.
And he just did a very good movie with what's his name? The guy who plays Finn. Why can't I think of his name? He was just Duke Leto Atreides.
Yeah. Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah.
You know what we got to get better at doing? All of us collectively. Having a Google window open just to
make sure
so we don't look like we don't know what we're talking about.
I mean, you guys could do that while I'm paying attention to the chat, but hey,
true,
great idea.
I'm doing it right now. I'm opening up my Google window. So we're talking about
when you asked me what I was watching,
Oscar Isaacs, goddamn it! I didn't do that with Google.
When you asked me what else I was watching, King Richard, which we should discuss at some point.
No, I'm going to dedicate next week's episode to King Richard.
Okay, good to know. All right,
we're going to discuss that.
Besides that, I've just been watching the stuff we're going to talk about.
Yeah, Gabo, I'm going to watch Venom this weekend. I'm going to put myself through that torture. Venom and Invasion.
Talk about how trash it is next week for like 5 minutes.
Exactly. It'll be the comedy section of the show. Now, what I have been watching, apart from the topics of the day, is You. I've been watching that.
You've been watching me?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. No, but the show You, which is like
I have a show.
If you bought Dexter from Wish, from the Wish app, right? So I finished all 3 seasons finally.
Broke Dexter.
Yes. Right. So I was watching it with the lady, and I gotta tell you, aside from the murder and serial killer part of it, it is a really earnest look at what it is like to at the first season is what is it like, what the dating scene is like, and then what is it like to actually be married. And if you take the murder part out of it, like
which is basically the whole the reason why, the draw. That's
the draw. But if you really look at it, and why a lot of marriages fall apart, that's it. And I don't want to give spoilers for those who have watch it. But if you know what the premise of the show is, Joe is a sociopath who thinks that he's in love with women. He fantasizes about them and looks at them as objects of his affection. And then they end up dead. And then he has to move town.
Sometimes you got a chocolate chick, bro.
Right? Or bury them alive. Or
yes, they deserve to die.
Okay.
And I hope they burn in hell. No.
Okay, you guys go ahead. But the point is, and then you have to ask yourself, because they try to make him likable, and then he actually gets what he wants, and then you really see what a sociopath he is. So it's an interesting interesting look. So, and I know Dexter's coming back, but I don't know much about how they're going to bring that back. So we'll see how.
I thought they already had. Haven't they already released the new season of it? Am I wrong? Let me.
I have no idea.
As we pull up the Google pages.
Maybe they did that instead of doing the Halo show. But hey,
would you stop it?
I see. So Gabo is saying King Richard. Yes, you brought that up, right? That article about King Richard had another daughter. Yep. So and in his previous life, his name was King Buck, because that daughter sounds like Rufus Buck from from what do you call it? So
yes, sir.
So apparently King Richard moved on to do greater things. But I'll leave that for next week after I see the.
We could quickly discuss that article or whatever, because I
want to talk about it with the show, because I haven't seen the movie.
Let me just say this real quick. She bitter. She's like 57 years old. All them other kids is like damn near 60. So when did he leave?
This is the guy that was on Rufus Buck's side last week. But
y'all like, you mad because whatever? Who told you your mom's wasn't difficult?
Again, you was defending
because you seen them other two became
you're defending
Idris Elba last episode, but now here you go.
Yeah,
and you just last episode you said you would have let Idris Elba kill your own mother because he was right.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
It's recorded.
About characters in a movie.
Okay.
Don't you tell me about what I would do.
Okay.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Don't make me clip you.
Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I could put you on the Summer Jam screen, sir.
Fuck out of here. I know what I said.
So
I said I empathize and I get why Rufus Buck did what he did. I didn't say if I was
but you don't get why this chick is writing this article.
Understand why he did it.
You don't get why the chick is writing this article.
I might not have killed him because he didn't kill me, and I would have understood and empathized.
Okay, then why don't you understand this woman?
Because like say like people, like let's say Ahmad or whoever's was named brother, who he forgave. He's like forgave this white woman for killing his brother.
Absolutely not.
I couldn't have done it because fuck the police.
Now who's capping right now?
But this is his brother though. This guy is his brother.
And that's his dad, though.
And him killing his brother is not going to bring them back. But he understands why he did it. And he still
y'all are two capologists.
All right. On that note, I'm going to move on to your topic first, Mr. K. Asante, Arcane.
Oh, yeah. So the question first and foremost, how many episodes in have you guys seen? I know you finished.
I've seen the whole thing. He's only seen the first episode, but don't worry about him.
Okay. Well, you know what?
At first, I was shaky on it. At first, I was shaky, and I didn't want to watch it. But after I got to the end, and I seen, that super serum that he gave to the rat, I was just like, oh, it's going someplace. And I saw the beginning of the next one with the magic and stuff. I was just like, oh, okay.
Wait till you see the end of episode 3.
Oh boy, that show takes you places.
Beverly Keene has a new best friend. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, but
that raggedy bitch Beverly Keene.
So I guess let me first give you my thoughts on it. Okay, I started this whole thing. I jumped into it, and actually, y'all saw it on the show where it was recommended to me to watch because I was in the middle of a few things. I think there was the King David episode a couple weeks ago. We were watching that. We were doing
2 weeks ago because we took off Thanksgiving.
Exactly. And so I was like, okay, recommendation, good recommendation. Let me give it a shot. Art style was amazing, as art styles tend to be when they're when you strike that good tone. So it got me through the first episode. I was world building, and I found it interesting and all that. But then, out of nowhere, I was just hooked, bro. I was just completely hooked to the origin stories, how they slowly let these characters breathe to get to where they are now. Because, of course, after this is all said and done, I find out that this is the origin story for two, actually not just two, a lot of main characters in League of Legends. There's like 120 something in League of Legends. There's many characters in League of Legends. So this is just
still not going to play that game.
Oh hell no. They still that game still does the big problem that I have, which is it just kind of yada 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 is the origin stories just to get you there to fight. and I want the stories to be the main draw, not the competitive multiplayer, MOBA situation. But all I will say is, this is not a show that I don't think you should spoil the show. I don't think it's a show that you should be spoiling, because I think it requires good.
What happened?
His internet. I see Logical in the building. All right. Does it show that we're still live? Are we still live?
It still says live on my end.
Okay. And you still see it in YouTube. Okay. Well, he'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back. Okay. So Arcane, while Mr. KSI
tell us your opinion,
gets stuff together. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was. I think it took everything that they did in Spider-Verse and kind of took it to the next level in terms of animation. I thought the world building was really like second to none, and the action, to me, I don't know if you guys remember Advent Children, right? Like Final Fantasy Advent Children. That was
Final Fantasy 7?
Yes, Final Fantasy 7 Advent Children.
Cloud and all that.
That was an animated movie, with the big swords, all that. So it was that they basically took that to the next level, right? Here. And they mixed that with storytelling that is on par with any sort of fantasy series you will watch that's coming out today, right? And the action and the art style alone is just next level. And this is I don't even blink saying this. This is the best video game adaptation in history of all time, and it's not even close, right? So and you don't have to, and this is the point. They made
that Super Mario Brothers movie come out, Steve.
I hear you. They made it so you don't have to have played League of Legends to know about it. And the dopest thing is that it is the animators from Riot Games that did most of the animation for this. What happened?
Damn, electricity, bro. A small blimp, everything just went down. My
Nice.
bad.
All right.
That happens. What you gonna
now
do?
you're at the bottom.
Continue. Yeah, hey.
All right. No, you go ahead. I was just making the Advent Children and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse references and saying that you don't need to play the game to understand this. And
True.
Yeah, because I've never played the game. I wasn't even aware it was a game. And I'm
intrigued. I was aware,
and I'm still not going to play the game.
Yeah, I'm still not. After this show was done, after I finished the whole season, I literally went on Twitter and was like, I'm still not going to play any MOBAs. I'm not going to play League of Legends, but Riot Games, get me a third-person, over-the-shoulder action game.
They have a fighting game coming out.
I saw that.
Is it Castlevania based on a game?
Yes.
And you don't think that's up there? Or you think this is better?
Oh,
this is way better. This shit's all over Castlevania.
This is better.
Have you watched all of Castlevania?
Yes. All of it, yes. And I love Castlevania. Don't get me wrong. To me, Castlevania is peak Netflix animation. Like,
this is the thing you need to understand, LeVar. It gets better and better every episode.
So
yes,
after I've seen it in its totality, I can't say it's better than Castlevania because I don't have no point of reference.
Trust me.
I can't say it's
watch the rest of the show. Watch the rest of it. Watch it. Because beyond the world building, beyond the animation, which is all flawless, then they start telling the story. And they start hooking you with the character. They start slow. They're kids. And they build on it. I'm not going to say anything else because obviously you need to watch it. But trust me, bro. Just like I was here jumping up and down on other shows, telling Everborn, finish the show. And then he finished it and he was like, yo, bro. I checked the Rotten Tomatoes. It's at 100%. What show, specifically Netflix shows, get 100%?
And I just want to point out, in case it has not been said already, why is it not
in the top 10?
The way it actually is, and it's one of the most watched series of all time. It's the number one thing
they've already greenlit.
Put it on. It didn't say it was in the top 10.
It's not in the top 10 for you, but Netflix put out press releases saying it's the number one most watched show that they ever released.
You know
like
what's
it's literally their biggest
movie?
show. What?
You know
Red Notice is the biggest movie.
Red Notice, yeah.
But series, it's Arcane. But the way that they
of
portray,
all time, Steve, that's crazy. And
but this is the most watched show of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
so something doesn't even have to be good for it to be the most watched.
The way that they portray Black people in this
is
so good, right? And
I'll go on a limb and say the way they portray people in general. If you're Black, you get your shine. If you're Mexican, you get your shine. The way they portray the differences in humans is just chef's kiss, bro.
Right.
I've never seen it done better.
But right after that, the way they portray Black people is very good, especially
phenomenal.
The strong Black mother.
Yes.
Tell them about that African mother vibes. Walking in to your house.
She walks in with scars all over her body because, you know, she's war weary. You know what I'm saying? She walks in commanding respect, especially her mother specifically. And you know what I'm talking about, the councilwoman's mother.
Yeah.
Like, man, what a character.
And now coming to her new house telling her what to do.
Telling her what to do. And she's basically the warlord in her region. And she got just a quick backstory. She got ousted from her motherland because she was said to be too soft. So the mom kicked her out of her own birthright. She comes here, does her thing, builds something for herself, and now here comes mom strolling in like she owns the place. With as soon as she shows up, she got boy toys on her arm. She don't give up. Like the show is phenomenal. It really is. And I'm really happy to hear that season 2 is already like on its way.
Here's the thing about season 2. What you need to understand.
Okay.
This is not. We're talking about Arcane, Splendiferous. So it's a series on Netflix. But I see Livewire's Gaming in here. Hello. But the thing to understand about this is we're not getting that season 2 anytime soon. It's greenlit. But the way they do this animation, it took them years and years and years to make this one. It will take several years. So I'd be surprised if we saw that in 2023 or 2024. That's definitely not getting it next year.
That is very unfortunate.
Like no chance. I mean,
look at what they lose the shine.
But look at
it'll
what
lose
they
the
did.
momentum. You know.
I don't know. Will it? Look how fast this one picked up.
I think so because people really like, as LeVar said, he didn't know nothing about it. Neither did I. I knew about it because I know video games and I know of that brand and I know of Riot Games and all that. But I had a full square where I was just like, nope, I'm not playing it. I'm not watching it. You know, I don't like Riot Games and what they do and 10 cents backing and all that. It basically gave me very much red flags and I wasn't about it. But after watching this show to its fruition, and now I hear that Netflix is getting into games, I'm like, yo, there's something to be said. Because
I don't even want to go on that, but
I'm telling you, because had I been done with this show, and they had a link for me to click and play a game that I wanted to play in this world, you'd have my money.
Netflix, yeah, but you can't have my money.
How is Netflix gaming going to work? You're going to play on your PC or something?
Well, these days
it might be streaming.
Yeah, it could be streaming. There's a lot of avenues. They even have games like proper native games.
So are you playing streaming through your phone or are you playing streaming through what?
You can stream it through a tablet. You can stream it through your phone. You can stream it through a game console. Streaming is an option everywhere.
Built into the TV.
So I could turn on Netflix and play with my Xbox controller.
No, not right. Well, one day, but not right now.
One day, not right now. I mean, Xbox, you can do that. You can turn on your phone and play with
it now. But I'm saying when it launches, will I be able to do that?
Probably.
That is the future. Right now, they're just messing with little mobile games here.
That's
what they're doing. But again, the point I'm trying to make.
Let's not get sidetracked.
The show is amazing, but as amazing as it was, it didn't get you to go play League of Legends. So it's not going to be so easy for Netflix to just jump into gaming like that because you got to have the content.
I don't disagree with you as far as it won't get you to play League of Legends, but in a world where this is a show that comes out that nobody has any prior context as far as this is to a game or whatever. In a world, let's play this hypothetical game, okay? you watch this awesome anime.
Pixel Slapper,
oh my
what's
god.
up?
You watch this awesome animation. You're like, oh my god, this is one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen. The world building, the characters, this and that. And then they go, oh, by the way, check this out. The Everborn Saga is also a game. Boom. In that world, you don't think that would sell it? You're damn right it would. I think the problem with League of Legends is it's backwards, since the game is already there. So people already have their prior notions of what it is. But this model would work really well if they were able to get them both working at the same time. I'm not saying it's anytime soon, but you can see those pieces come together eventually.
Provided they have the content and
provided they have the content
and
the infrastructure and all of that
to be in place for decades to get the content ready and the IP that they need. We'll see. But anyway, the other thing I want to say about this is that I would not, and Smitty, we see you. We appreciate you. Check us out in the morning.
Yeah.
Hit the like button before you come back. But I would not want this show as live action.
No.
That would do it a disservice. This is the perfect medium for the story they were trying to tell and the world they were trying to give us.
Completely agree. Yeah. It would be less than to show this in live action. It would lose something because beyond the characters and the world building and all of that, just the world itself is a character. Just the way that Jinx is portrayed and the way that she's animated it and the way that they convey insanity is just so different than anything you've seen.
Did you get Harley Quinn vibes from her?
See, the problem with that...
Did it feel like an impression of Harley Quinn?
No. The problem with that is because she's done it famously, now everybody that does that is Harley Quinn-like. That's some BS. I don't know. I don't see that. Because Harley Quinn has never been that crazy to me. Like, Jinx is crazy. Harley Quinn has never been that crazy to me. She's always been kind of like using her weirdness, I wouldn't even call it insanity, as a weapon. Whereas you can definitely tell that Jinx is mentally disturbed. You can just see it. You could see it when she was a kid. Watch the show, you'll understand. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Harley Quinn kind of puts it on. Then again, to be fair, I've never really bought into the Harley Quinn as a crazy person thing, and that's why I've always thought it was very odd. Whenever they added her to the Suicide Squad, it was like, oh, this is the best shooter in the world. This is the best this in the world. This is the best that in the world. And then an insane chick with a mouth. Like, it just never really gelled for me. Like her style. Like I was never convinced that what she brought to the table. And Jinx, I completely get it. Because beyond her insanity, she's like a what do you call it? An explosive expert. She's like an expert marksman, in addition to her insanity. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I didn't see, oh yes, they're trying to do Harley Quinn. I just feel like it's unfortunate in a world where everyone can only have one or two characters in their mental. You bring another one in that's similar and they go, oh yeah, she's doing Harley Quinn. I think that's a derivative of Jinx to call that out.
Okay.
Harley
but
Quinn
you disagree?
Dated this character, so you're gonna get comparisons.
Of course you will.
Yeah,
of course you will.
But I guess what I'm asking is like, okay, don't tell me you don't feel like they didn't take some inspiration from Harley Quinn.
I mean, in a world where Harley Quinn is a very well recognized character that they shove into many different DC products, of course, that must have been a conversation that was had. But again, I think their execution of her was more nuanced, and even if they decided that we're creating our own Harley Quinn character, they made it a hot song. They made it a hot album versus a hot line that DC has been using for quite some time. DC should and could have matured that character, but they're still kind of playing in shallow waters when it comes to Harley, in my opinion. And Jinx took it there right from jump.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
That's just like your opinion or whatever, man.
You know what?
Okay, so
LeVar, after you see the whole thing, we should revisit that conversation because I think you'll have very interesting thoughts once you've seen the creation of Jinx. That is.
I don't know how much of like the iterations of Harley that you've seen and the crazy things
hold
that she
on.
has done? Or
Yeah,
everything?
just wait till you get to episode 4 and then ask that question.
Yeah.
Because it's not like there's a time jump after episode 3, right?
Well, I'll tell you if I still think she's, even if she does crazier things than Harley does, I'll tell you if I think,
Yeah.
Well,
now hold on.
Real quick. Go ahead. Real quick. I just wanted to say the reason why I say this character is a little different is because I feel like Jinx is the way Jinx is portrayed is against her own will. Like a lot of the stuff she does, a lot of the craziness that happens with her is not something she wants to happen or controls. It's kind of like part and parcel of her versus Harley Quinn, who like specifically we'll have a better conversation once you've seen the full iteration of this new character. I think it'll be a very interesting conversation. But you were saying Everborn. Go ahead.
No.
Like specifically what?
In the chat, now use can't leave from a Bronx Tale. He says, will it be will season 2 be like Godfather 2?
Godfather 2.
Right? Does that mean we see a young Victor or Vander? I mean, is that what you're referring to? We get to see Vander as a young
how they got to where they got. Yeah.
But there's so much to go forward, like where it ends, because like this is why I love the ending. It's not a cliffhanger, but it's like, oh my god, what the hell's gonna happen now?
See, what bothers me with that though,
I hope they don't do a time jump for season 2.
Well, see that I was gonna go there, but completely in a different direction. What bothers me is this is Arcane. This is not set in that specific universe. This is 2 or 3 or 4 characters of a 125 character roster. So there's a world where they leave that to fester for a while and go play in other waters for another season and then come back to it. I hope that's not where we go, but there's so much to mine.
No. I don't think. I think this is going to be. I think they're
told continue this story. Vi and Jinx's story.
It was such a tight story, and where this season ended, you have to continue that. But I could see a time jump at the end where like you got the 2 sides, going against each other after whatever happened in the end. But without spoiling it for LeVar, because he didn't want to listen to me and watch it, even though it was amazing. But as I said, he will thank me later. So I do want to move on. And LeVar, if you're back, I want to talk about Masters of the Universe. If you are not, I'm going to talk about Wheel of Time. So maybe he's not back yet. All right. So
I'm here.
Okay.
But you can talk about Wheel of Time if you want.
Okay. I'll go into Wheel of Time. I won't be long on Wheel of Time. Well, we'll see about that, right? So Wheel of Time
is the new Game of Thrones, but on Amazon.
No, it is not. No,
that's account. I know it's not like Game of Thrones, but that's what Bezos wanted. He wanted something to compete with.
No, I don't think so either. And I'll tell you why. I really, watching this show makes me feel like they got it just because they were trying to use this to land Lord of the Rings. But you saw the first episode, LeVar. What did you think?
What did I think of it?
Yeah.
Magic and stuff like that. I mean, it's not something that I'm into like that. I mean, maybe after I watch it, like the second episode or whatever, but it's so time consuming. It's like an hour an episode.
Okay. What'd you think of the production value? What'd you think of the story they were trying to tell?
$10 million an episode. So the production value is great.
You're serious? It's $10 million an episode?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yo, where's that money?
It's going on bad wigs.
It's not on the screen. It really is not on the screen. Besides the CG a little bit, but damn. That's
basically
surprising.
when I was
$10
seeing
million
the first
an episode.
It was like they trying to find baby Jesus, because he's come of age and he's a female or a male or something like that.
Big baby Jesus.
But $10 million an episode. Are they shipping that much stuff on Amazon? Because people don't actually pay for the Amazon service.
Sounds like money laundering to me.
Yeah. So if you're getting this money, so he's just funding this show because
Prime Video is a tax write-off for Amazon.
He's like, yeah, I want to see this, so I'm gonna spend money on a service that people are not even they get for free.
Okay, so
how you quantify that? Even if people watch it, it's still not as big as Netflix.
Yeah, but the problem is hard. It's hard to say because like most people that are on Prime are there because of the free shipping and not necessarily
not necessarily because of. I don't know a single human who goes,
watch the Prime
yeah, I'm there to watch the Prime Video. It's kind of a side thing, right?
But they are the second largest streaming service, but that is again because of people's free shipping.
By the very nature of free shipping, yeah.
Right? Because there's like 175 million people on that or something like that. But again, how they get there. But okay, so here's the thing. The story itself of the books, because they're adapting Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, and the first book is Eye of the World. Oh, what's up? Go ahead.
From what was said is like what makes this better than Game of Thrones.
Nothing.
In a type of epic, it's not like the same show as Game of Thrones at all, but in a type of big epic type of show, that's the only comparison really, is that this book was actually finished and people like the ending. As opposed to they just had to come up with their own thing.
Fun fact about that is that Robert Jordan actually passed away before he finished the books, and so he gave them to Brandon Sanderson. He gave his notes to Brandon Sanderson to finish the final 2 books.
You think that's what's going to happen with Game of Thrones too?
I think he should give it away, but he doesn't have to die to do that. I think he should give that shit away now.
He should just give it to somebody who's hungry to finish it. Because he clearly is not.
Yeah, you can't give it to Brandon Sanderson because then they'll be throwing fireballs. But which I gotta wonder if Sanderson is like a big Dragon Ball fan. That's how his Stormlight archive is written. But anyway, so here I have issues with the show, and I love the story, and I was hoping they paid it. They paid the same close attention to crafting this for the screen that they were doing with that they're doing with Lord of the Rings, right? So it's famously they're spending $1 billion for one season of Lord of the Rings. $1 billion, right? This show has 10 million an episode, right? $1 billion.
With a B.
Which averages 100 million an episode for 10 episodes, right?
How does it make sense? Are they trying to sell merch? Why?
Well, the idea is it will be a draw to the service because they're trying to take it seriously, and they are they had to pay a lot of money to get the license, and they have like a 10-year plan for the show, so that cost will be amortized over time, because now when you build all of those sets, you can use that for the other seasons, and the other seasons' costs go down.
Do you see people wearing Wheel of Time shirts or dressing up as the characters on Halloween?
Well, but that's because there hasn't been a TV show yet. You didn't see people dressing up as Game of Thrones characters till
the Wheel of Time has been in the book community for many years.
You feel me? Like,
well, again, you're comparing two different kind of things. They're trying to break into. They're trying to break into the culture right now.
Let me say this.
That's what they're trying to do.
My only point is those other shows are profitable in that they created merchandise. There's toys behind it. There's branding behind it. Do you see this show being that it will create merchandise that people will buy?
Had they scored stories properly, yes.
$10 million an episode.
It depends on how it lands, and had they followed the story correctly, I would venture to guess it would. I will say there is a strong following for the Wheel of Time. I've known of the Wheel of Time forever and ever and ever and ever because people have loved these books for a very long time. I've heard it I've lived in many different countries. I've heard this book referenced wherever I have gone. It's always been solely within the book reader's realm, which obviously now Netflix is out there. Now you got all your streaming services. So they're trying to, bridge that gap and come over to the main zeitgeist of the population. Are they doing it successfully? That's where we are. We're here.
Right. So here's the thing, LeVar, to answer your question, right? People weren't dressing up as Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow before the Game of Thrones season 1, right? Like, you have to invest the money and then let it be a hit, and then you will sell the merchandise later, right? A lot of people didn't know what the boys were, or they didn't know what Invincible were. Yes, the comics were out, and you had people at Comic-Con dressing like some of these people, but it's not until the show came out to push it into the stratosphere. So you have to invest and then tell a good story. Now, the point that I am coming to,
that show doing that.
Yes, I could. If they gave it the same attention to detail that the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones had. Yes. Now, to do the thing about this show is that I feel like they leaned into the fantasy too soon. And so therefore it loses some of its luster and effects, right? So and I don't know if you know this, but Game of Thrones had that kind of budget, $10 million for one episode, right? Like,
they made it back
at the beginning. I don't think so. At the beginning,
it might not even have that
season
much.
Season one was tight, and then when season 1 was so successful, then they started opening it up, right?
Because they were spending $100 million a season on Game of Thrones, basically, right?
But that was later seasons.
Sure.
The dragons started showing up and all of that.
Slogans on it. There's lapel pins. There's all kind of Game of Thrones money.
Right.
They made all that money back.
Of course they did. But what I'm saying is, for the Wheel of Time, it really feels like a CW production, and I don't know where that money is going. Right?
That's what when you said 10 million an episode, I'm like, where is it? It's not on the screen,
right?
Because they didn't put it on the screen.
They have like 1 or 2 high caliber actors, and then a bunch of no names.
Yep.
Right,
which is fine. Fine.
Cool. Everybody in Game of Thrones was no names except for
a while. Yeah, except for Bean.
Sean Bean.
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Right. So, no. We're gonna have Rand on the show, but I didn't want to ask him for this discussion because I wanted to have him on when the first season is done. And we'll chop it up and talk about the books and all those things. And I've only read the first book, and that was a very long time ago. And I'm re-listening to it now on Audible.
Yeah, I'm on chapter 19 myself. Actually, no, 32 or whatever. 32.
Right. So I'm saying all of this to say the production value is taking me out of the show. Right. When I look at these things, I look at them to be, and I understand that it's a fantasy world that never really existed, right? But I look at it to feel like historical fiction, and then add in the fantasy elements later. Like, if you watch Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, it feels like a real place, right? It just feels like it was in the before times, right? Yeah. If you watch Game of Thrones, the economy of all of it feels like a place that could have existed. And they based a lot, like George R.R. Martin based a lot of the beef between the Starks and the Lannisters based on the War of the Roses. If you pay attention to your British history, which is House Lancaster versus House, which Lancaster Lannister and House, I can't remember their names. But no. I'm talking about the actual
Legonites or whatever.
No, that's not what they're called.
Yeah, that's not what they're the House of. Yes.
If you watch the White Queen on Showtime, they talk about that, right? And the Red Queen and all that. So my point is, it's actually based on historical events, and it is very grounded. So when you see. Marx agrees with me, right? It does feel like a big budget CW show, right? All of the actors look like they got models from Abercrombie and Fitch. The wigs look terrible. They're wearing like plaid hoodies, right? Something that you would go and buy in the Gap, right? It is colorful to a fault. And I get that I'm the same person that said that Dune was too bland in color, but that's the future. This is supposed to be in the past, and none of it makes sense.
So what you're saying is the past should be drab and the future should be colorful. And
yes,
you don't like
I used to think that between black and white when I was a kid.
So okay, I'm gonna say something controversial now, and I've been talking with you. I've been talking.
There we go. I knew it was about to go there. Go for it. Drop it.
The show.
Hold on, let me go get my popcorn real quick.
The show is almost mathematically diverse.
It's too diverse
to the point where it doesn't make sense, and it takes you out. Or at least it takes me out. So I was already, this is before we get to the gross changes they've made from the book, because I don't want to be that guy. You're adapting it. The book is the book. The movie's the movie. I'm not going to come at them for the changes they make, even though I think those changes were stupid. Forget about that. Throw that
diverse, Steve?
Yes, and I will explain to you why.
But you okay with the diversity on Arcane and it's animated?
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Arcane is perfect. And we're not
so it's depiction of the characters, not so much the diversity or just their portrayals.
Well, no, and I don't, because they're not portraying anybody like in stereotypes or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Let me just finish this thought and you tell me what you think, right? Because I want your opinion, LeVar, because you have not read the book, so you don't know the changes that they've made, and you can just judge it for what you saw in that first episode. The town where Rand and Egwene and Matt and Perrin are from is the Two Rivers, right? It is a backwater farm town surrounded by mountains where no one has ever left, right? Everyone knows everyone going back to birth. And when an outsider comes, they know them, and outsiders do not come often. But for some reason, this farm village, whatever, it looks like they are from San Francisco or New York. And they have every race of people imaginable. It's not like this was a city where it was a trade town and people from all over the world come there. And then that makes sense to have the diverse cast there, but this doesn't make sense. And then when you get to episodes 2 and 3, and then you see they meet up with basically the village people, right? And then every scene, you cannot have one scene in there where they're like, okay, we got to have somebody that represents everybody. And the goal is great, but the story itself is now not believable because the economy, the verisimilitude of it doesn't make sense, right? And again, everybody looks really perfect, and any dirt they have on them looks like it was strategically placed right by the makeup department, right? The women have the rosy cheeks. None of it makes sense. The clothes that they have don't look handmade, right? Looks like I'm waiting to see a logo on something. I'm just looking for the Starbucks cup, right? Like all of this takes me out of it. And that's before we get to the fact that the Trollocs, when they come and they invade the town at the end of the first episode, you don't do something like that so soon, because I'm not afraid of Trollocs and I don't care. And the way they did all those quick jump cuts and slashing of the sword and then cut to another thing, it just shows that they didn't take the time to do any fight choreography. They didn't take the time
Steve.
Build up the Trollocs in the shadows so that you are afraid of them. It's just like they talk in the books, but that's neither here nor there, right? Yep. They just said,
and they're systematic in the books. They are strategic in the books, to the point where other townsfolk can go, what are you talking about? I didn't see any issues. They came to do a certain thing, and then they were out and nobody saw them. Whereas in the show, they're causing havoc all over the place. They are murdering and pillaging,
and they're just grunting and they're doing full body shots of them, and you can see that this is clearly people in suits. None of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense how they're fighting against them. It
doesn't suspend your disbelief.
Not at all. And so my thing about Game of Thrones that I loved about it is that it was a slow burn. It could have been real. It was to the point where if you didn't see the White Walkers in the beginning and they talked about magic, you wasn't sure if you believed people could do magic in that show.
But in that show, they stretched out the magic for a while. Hey, will this get fantasy, or is it just going to be swords and shields the whole time? Until eventually,
but it was still interesting enough. Like right now, if you watch a show called The Tudors, or used to watch it, which is about Henry VIII, right? If you look at it, Vikings, right? Everybody loves Ragnar Lothbrok, right? That's historical. That's historical fiction, right? But it still is believable. So when I watch these fantasy shows, I expect them to feel like Vikings. I expect them to feel like the Tudors. I expect what's that show on Netflix? The Last Kingdom. It should feel like that, and then you add magic to it, and that's how the books are written. So you have this. You have a sense of grounding that makes when the magic comes, when the Trollocs come, you actually feel something. Now it's just like, oh, this is a cannon fodder for the screen, right? They're here, but they don't really pose a threat because somebody's going to do some swiping and slashing, and then they'll go away. And it's all just really, really unfortunate because I feel like they are. And again, this is not about them moving away from the books. I am talking about the casting. I am talking about the production value. I am talking about the makeup. I am talking about, again, and by the way, anybody who takes what I'm saying about the diversity bothering me and uses that to say, oh, look, the black guy has a problem with diversity. I want to say now, go fuck yourself.
He's coming for you.
Diversity is a very, very old wooden ship.
Yes. But again, don't use me or clip me to say anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But here it is to a fault. It is to the detriment of the show. And that is before I even come to any of the changes. I hate the show. Like,
H.
And I'm going
to
watch. I'm going to hate watch every other episode, and people are like, you gotta watch episode 4. You gotta watch episode 4.
I haven't seen episode 4.
Also trash.
Is it? Okay. Well, you know what? You are not, before you even come to
this is like watching the 100 on the CW or that show.
And this man watches a lot of CW shows because he references them a lot. But anyway, see, I watched it. I did this whole thing backwards. I've known of the show for a long time, of the books for a long time, but I never brought myself to read it because I know they didn't finish it until Brandon Sanderson got his hand on it. And,
Brandon Sanderson, yeah.
Yes, Brandon Sanderson got his hands on it. And when he got his hands on it, people criticized it because it became more his books than the book that people had known already. So the changes were apparent, kind of. So I've never been in the bag to watch to get to.
People's probably started throwing kamehamehas in the sand.
Sure, exactly. But because of the show, I was like, okay, you know what? I've seen a few episodes. Let's go see what the fuss is all about. Let me start listening, like you, Audible. But I've been binging basically. Any moment I get, any free time I get, I'm on a run. I'm doing housework or whatever. I got headphones on, yard work, and I'm listening to this thing. So I've been plowing through. What I will say is, for you saying, oh, all those other stuff, I don't disagree with any of the points you're making at all. But let's take a moment to analyze those changes they've made. We don't have to get into it because I know not everybody has seen it, but I have always, like you, I've always been in the school of thought that, hey, when you adapt something, there are changes that need to be made because something that works good in a book may not work well on the screen, okay? So a lot of stuff gets yada, 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 as they say, right? Things get shortened, things get clipped off, things that were whole chapters in the book become, you know, a 2, 3, 4 minute throwaway line in the show. I get that. But the changes they have made to the fundamentals of where we are has been so divergent that it makes me think, it makes me want to know why. You know, I've read books and seen stories where huge swaths of things have been shortened or has been summarized, but that's not what this is. They have literally changed things drastically. You know,
like they had to go out of their way to fuck this up.
Yeah, it's like they purposely went, you know what? The author chose to go left. Fuck it, we're going right. Why? Because who knows? Like, I don't get it. Most of the time when you see these adaptations do those things, you can like take the logical leaps and see where they went. Oh, it would take too much time or whatever. They did none of that here. It's like they purposely. It's like a new author came down and went, all right, well, let me write the screenplay for the show, and I'm gonna go, and it's gonna be a shell of its original source material. Because that's how it feels.
I've heard the argument that if you did a direct adaptation, it would have been a boring show for people who didn't know the payoff that was coming down the line. And I understand that, but again, you don't have to go full. I don't want to use that word, so we'll just say full Wayne Brady. You don't have to go full Wayne Brady with all the monsters and whatever. You could tell a grounded story, but if you have good enough cast and interestingly enough written characters, the mundane can keep you on the edge of the seat.
Yeah.
And use that to lead you out. Why were you hooked at the end of the first episode of Game of Thrones? Let's talk about what that was. This was a day in the life of Winterfell.
Yeah.
The king is coming to visit. It's the pomp and circumstances, all that stuff. But what kept you coming back is that you found out at the end of that episode that the king, the queen is fucking her brother, and that they pushed the kid out the window who might be able to tell the king. Right?
Yeah.
How could they kill a kid like that? Turns out the kid wasn't dead. But the point is, that's the thing that hooked you coming back. It had nothing to do with White Walkers. It had nothing to do with magic and flaming swords and any of that. You were invested whether people had magic powers or not. You did not need all of that. You could have done that here.
The book spent a lot of time with the cloaked, hooded rider who was like sneaking up on people and leaving them with fear, even though others wouldn't see them. Y'all could have spent the whole first episode just on that. Like literally, you could have done that, and that would have brought people in. That would have been the intrigue that's necessary to hook people in addition. So, you know, what you're describing there were blueprints in the book for that, but they chose to completely throw that away. As LeVar said, and he's seen episode 1. It's almost like they needed to show you the magic immediately to hook you, to go, hey, there's magic here. Look at the CG, instead of slow burn and build it up. It's kind of like, in a different way, but it's kind of like what DC versus Marvel does. Whereas Marvel slowly builds, right, lays the foundation, lays the groundwork, and then throws a Fantastic on top. DC comes back and goes, oh, no, we got to catch them real quick, so let's show them everything now.
Wheel of Time is the Justice League of fantasy adaptation.
Yes, it is a truer, no truer like comparison has been made, bro. That's how I would describe it. Like if you're into the book now and you're following the pages and you're following the storyline, and it beat for beat, there are actual touchstones where the book and the show kind of meet. There are certain beats, but in between that, it is like,
and
whoa, where were you guys going with all this?
This is another thing, right? Like, even if you want to introduce us to the new actors, the people of you use the elders who are the skilled actors right, to come in and cast the people of the Two Rivers and give the new people that we're going to be following, Rand and Egwene and Matt and Perrin, give them something to work with so that when they get on their own, you know, they've been introduced to us properly by more interesting characters.
Let's speak to Rand. Let's speak about Rand a little bit. In this book, Rand is the hero. You can tell, you know, altruistic. You can just tell he is the hero. He is the guy you're following. And even if the book wants, even if the TV show wants to diverge from that and make more of an ensemble piece, I can understand that. But they kind of made Rand a douchebag in this book.
I don't know. I feel like he's kind of a douchebag in the books too.
No, but in the books, he's very earnest. He's an earnest character. Yeah, he does some yelling to Egwene, which I get that. But in this show, because the yada 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 so much along, his main thing is he's now a tag along. You know, they use you until they don't need you anymore. And every 5 minutes, he's just got some cynical shit to say. When that's just not the character. I feel like Rand al'Thor 19 would have not chosen that name if the only reference he had was the show.
Because Rand really likes the show. Okay. But I think it's because he's in love with the property.
Because he's in love with the property.
This is why Slow-Mo wasn't able to critique Dune properly. Right? Okay. So LeVar, because I do want to move on because I want to get to Masters of the Universe because we're closing in on 10 o'clock and I don't want to shortchange that topic. LeVar, just tell me, after you heard my rant, tell me what you thought about the first episode. And if I didn't like force you to watch it, is it something you would keep up?
You were forced to watch it?
Not at all. I didn't even want to continue watching it when I was watching it. I went and watched a review of what
he was closing his eyelids.
That's why I was there saying all of that Game of Thrones stuff. But only in that it's episodic and it's a big budget TV show. You know, but that's where the comparison stops.
Do you see any of my complaints, or am I doing too much?
No, I mean I haven't seen it in its totality. But I feel like
they're only up to episode 4, so it's not like
I feel like it doesn't warrant $10 million an episode. I don't see the hype behind it. That's why I was asking. Like, I feel like it's a waste of money. You feel me? I don't see it blowing up like Game of Thrones did, or any of them other Amazon shows like did.
Do you see did Rand's sheepskin coat not bother you?
Hey man, blame the stylist. Bro.
Look at Egwene's plaid hoodie. Where you getting plaid from if you live on a you know what? Forget it.
When I saw the fashion, I was just like, what time is it supposed to take place? In the past? In the
last
future?
week. That's when it was supposed to take place.
Yeah, it is.
The fashion
is odd.
Some of it. You know, but I don't know.
I can't. I can't with that show. And I'm gonna continue watching it. And we just got to get through these 8 episodes. But boy, oh boy,
it's like Invasion. It gets you there, and then it pisses you off, and you got to keep watching.
I'm hate watching. Okay, now let's get to why everybody's really here. And LeVar, you can see the title. I'm teeing you up.
Okay, keep me up.
This is it, man. Kevin Smith knocks it out of the park with Masters of the Universe Part 2.
Let me get back on camera.
Where's the lie?
He did knock it out of the park. I mean, I feel like like I've said from jump, they should have released the whole thing in its totality. Then people wouldn't have been mad. Like he said, he promised Tila would never, raise the power sword. What's funny is, a woman did become He-Man, but not the person that they thought it would be.
Yeah, I saw some clickbait title that was like bait and switch again, and then they showed, who hold. I mean, obviously
everybody's seen it already.
Yeah, like
Evelyn
got the sword. Yeah, which I thought was dope. That was a dope idea.
Yeah, she wasn't a mustache twirling ridiculous villain. She actually had some nuance to her. It was a great idea. Yes.
I liked it. I liked it overall. I liked that it basically it gave us what we wanted to see, He-Man being He-Man. Or like
also He-Man being the Hulk, but
the Hulk.
Yeah. Also being Hulkman.
But that he has to control his rage, he needs the sword. But also people get mad because it's like, oh, the big dumb man needs the women to lead him around, you know? And then try to get him to say like, oh, I'm worthless. What do you need me for? You have the power. And they hold hands, you know, and then, you know, the sorceress always needs her champion, even though she don't need him at all.
I mean, I guess she could take the sword for herself, but
I mean, people were also mad because they was just like, they thought that this was like an LGBTQ show and that, you know, Tila was going to end up with Andra, but they were just friends, platonic friends. But people wanted that. So they're like, oh, you bait and switched us with this. And then you show like, oh, there's some budding romance between Tila and He-Man. But I always thought that He-Man was smashing that on the low, you know, in the you know, servants' quarters.
yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I thought it was expertly done. I thought the Evelyn thing, getting the sword, was super interesting because why would she want to be in the background the whole time?
Yes,
Tila evolved into the new Sorceress Supreme, and there's a reason, right? Like you can't just take the sword for the same reason. Skeletor can't take the sword. Not everybody could do it. Yes, just saying the words don't make you He-Man, is what I'm saying. Just saying the words don't.
It does for Adam though.
Well, I mean,
just say the words.
Yeah, but because he's the one.
He's the one. He was always the spark.
Right? They all need the sword for that. But Adam,
it's like Thor, where Thor don't really need. That's. I wonder if he took it from that because Kevin Smith likes to steal stuff. When Thor is just like, oh, I don't need that. That's just to channel it.
Yep.
The power.
Yeah, it's basically a one-for-one recreation of that. Yeah, it's true.
So he made him Thor and the Hulk. But so the thing is, I think it works, and this idea that, you know, oh, the man has to come to the woman for that, that's a dumb idea because you could have said that about the previous Sorceress Supreme, right? Because she had all that power, and she, oh, what he said.
I completely agree, bro. Completely agree. That evil Lynn and Skeletor scene, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
That was unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessary. This is I was over here watching this with the kids. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Man, this is going too far. Mad inappropriate stuff with your kids, bro. All the time, I be telling you, yo, stuff. You want to put on some Disney, Steve? Come on, bro.
If you listen to the stuff they watch on YouTube, it's ridiculous. But again,
sometimes I be sneaking in the room. I be like, what the F? They be on the weird side of YouTube.
YouTube makes our kids dumb. But no, I thought narratively it all worked out. I thought you know, even how do you feel about the Beast Man thing? He turned into an actual beast.
I mean, that's cool as long as he could turn back. I mean, he's Beast Man. I like that he's not as dumb as he was in the original show. Evelyn is the same because Evelyn was always smarter than Skeletor. Skeletor was always dumb. All he wanted to do was defeat He-Man, but he always failed at it. And you could always see that Evelyn just be like, really? But in this, it's like he was really abusive to where it made you dislike Skeletor. Because I always liked Skeletor. He was always funny to me. But in this, it's just they're like, oh, you're a piece of shit.
You know, also one note a little bit, though. Is he not? I mean, he's just all about that mustache twirling, even though the man can't grow a mustache because we can't invent.
Skeletor was hilarious. I liked Skeletor more than He-Man in the original show.
Oh no, I told you I need a whole series of Skeletor like talking shit to his minions for messing up.
There needs to be like a that's right. There used to be like an after dark kind of Cartoon Central kind of thing.
Running away.
He's just like clowning his minions all day.
Right. So, but no, I definitely think this proves one thing. Skeletor has the hots for He-Man.
Oh yeah, he's so gay for He-Man. You don't remember that commercial for whatever shit where they was Dirty Dancing and doing the I had the time of my life and he was holding, you know, Skeletor above his head and shit like that. You never saw that commercial?
I feel like I have saw that. Now, one thing I did want to point out before I forget, one thing I loved, like my favorite scene in this whole 2-part series is like, it's almost like they showed something that was supposed to be at the beginning of time, where you had the goat, and then the snake bites the goat, and then the eagle picks up the snake, and then the snake bites the eagle, and then the eagle comes down like a comet, and that is the kind of thing that formed the universe. To me, that I don't know why that spoke to me.
It resonated with you.
Yeah, even deeper. Like it felt like it was a time before time. I know it's a cartoon, but I really felt like just that imagery right there is something that made me feel like I was literally watching. I don't know, that shit gave me chills. I know it's weird,
Some
but
more
like
points I wanted to make about the show, because I don't know how much y'all know about y'all He-Man lore, but the things that Kevin Smith was able to bring out. I don't know if you remember the character General Blade from the original He-Man movie. Like he was one of Skeletor's
by the way,
minions.
before you
He
say
had the
that,
eye patch.
did you catch the fisting joke?
Yes, he's like, I like to fist him. Yeah, and the Wu-Tang, when they both came down, Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
That was funny.
There are a lot of ridiculous references in the show.
But General Blade was from, like, he was never in the cartoon. He was just from the He-Man movie. He was a character that was made up for the movie. And when they was, those discs that they would ride, that's from the He-Man movie. That wasn't from the show.
Oh, there you go.
Also,
of course, Alicia Silverstone did her little as if cameo
at the end of the when they brought Skeletor before Motherboard. They showed this symbol of like a bat or whatever. And I don't know if y'all got that reference, but that was Hordak, who is the main villain from the She-Ra show. So that either tells me that She-Ra's coming in the next season if Kevin Smith still wants to do this shit, because why would he after? It's like, no, I tried to give y'all what y'all wanted and then y'all shit on me. So why would he bring it out? But just the fact that he laid that Easter egg is, promising. I hope that he gives us a second season.
Yeah, man. Don't listen to us on the internet. we're just gonna fight.
Who's us? We told people to calm the hell down when part 1 came out. People were just being ridiculously egregious for no reason.
That was originally supposed to be in the next season of He-Man, but the showrunners, they stopped producing the He-Man show and they went straight into the She-Ra show, and He-Man would make cameos. But Hordak was always supposed to be more evil than Skeletor.
Yeah, is there still the Masters of the Universe live action movie coming?
What is it? Do they still have the same guy playing him?
I don't know, but I know Netflix bought the rights to that too.
Okay, if Netflix bought the rights to it, then it's going to come out.
Can't trust any of these other studios. But yeah, Netflix is just in the Masters of the Universe business, and I love it. I need them to take this kind of interest in Thundercats.
Also, if it was a Netflix property, it would have definitely been out. Also, bring back, I said it 100 times, bring back 2011 Thundercats. It deserves that second season. I want to see it. And
But here's the crazy thing, right? Like, and people forget this. They successfully brought back Voltron. There's like 8 seasons of that shit on Netflix.
Yeah, it's great.
I never watched that
great.
I know. We talking all this shit. This is the reason we don't got damn Thundercats now. But no, like
Thundercats forever, man. You don't see the medallion, bro. Thundercats forever.
No, but think about, like, Netflix could be really, if they can pull off, if this is good, if they can get Thundercats, right? They brought back She-Ra successfully for the kids, but now they're gonna bring a new She-Ra with this thing if they do a season 2, right? They're gonna have this live action He-Man movie where they already brought back Voltron, right? Like if they could also get Thundercats or Silverhawks or the Bionic 6, I'm just saying.
Now Thundercats,
I can say Netflix doing all that.
You'd keep it in animation then.
Absolutely.
You would not. Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't ever want to see Thundercats in live action.
Yeah, no.
Not after that damn Cats movie.
I feel like it's coming because they've been ramping out, like they're on the 4th or fifth wave of these Thundercats figures that they put back out. They have two different toy companies making product for Silverhawk. So I feel like even before
but I want Netflix specifically to do it.
But even before these two new He-Man shows came out in the movies, they started introducing like the Origins toys line back out. So I feel like when they start introducing all these toys, it's because they're ramping up for,
they're trying to do that promotion. I get you.
Yeah. So
it's always the direct correlation.
Now, Mr. K. Asante, tell me your thoughts on this thing. All 5 of these episodes.
Honestly, I think you guys have hit the nail on the head. It was expertly done. I had some issues with the way they portrayed Skeletor towards the end. While they're giving every character some nuance, they're giving Evil Lynn her backstory as to why she is the way she is. They're filling out the whole world of why Adam can understand why everyone, the secrets that were kept and all of that, right? But Skeletor was still kind of mustache twirly, evil, cackling, even when he loses his sword and then has to reluctantly go and join the good guys. My thought was, why did they let him in? Like, why did they turn around?
Because according to Adam or He-Man, it's so that he would know what it feels like to be the hero.
It feels like to be the hero, but you know he was about to turn on you. Come on now.
But it's like because his good nature. That's why he got stabbed in the first place, because he's naive.
Exactly. Exactly. He has this earnestness that was a little ridiculous. But by and large, I think Kevin Smith was completely successful at basically turning a one note single frame into a full character study of all these characters that you thought you knew from back then, you know what I'm saying? And they really filled them out, fleshed them out. I think he did a great job. The world building is really great. A lot of it in the beginning left a lot to our imagination in the first iterations of He-Man and the Master Universe. And I feel like Kevin Smith grew up with that property because you can tell he recreated what we thought it would be, not what it was. So I really think he did a great job.
Wait, before you ask that question, Gabe O, there is an animated series coming to HBO Max, and it is going to be done by the guy that is directing the new Batman movie, Matt Reeves.
And them horns, man. Them ears, man. I'm still not over it. Them damn ears. They're like.
Well, let's see how it looks when it comes out. Anyways, LeVar, what were you saying? What were you asking? What's going on?
Like how Beastman has a thing for Evil Lynn. So do you think if they hook up in the second season, is that considered bestiality?
Oh God. Okay. No, because he said right now I'm more beast than man, and if they do hook up, she's gonna turn him back to a man, and they'll live happily ever after. Who Beastman is?
Evil Lynn likes to get freaky deaky. She's out there with the Skeletor getting all frisky.
I'm gonna show you something, and what Beastman needs to understand. He does not stand a chance with you.
Yeah, he's friend zoned like forever.
Exactly. Let me show you something about. Let me show you something about Evelyn. See, Evelyn
this man says mental.
Evelyn is gonna post a picture on Instagram, right? I'm gonna show you what's gonna happen, right? Her side piece, Orko or the Oracle, is gonna be like, hey, cutie, right? But he's the side piece, right? He's hitting it, right? And now her
She's
man,
like, Orko, you ain't going nowhere. Not this time.
Not this time.
Her man, Skeletor, is just gonna like the picture on Instagram. He's not even gonna comment. But then here come Beastman. You are the sun goddess of the world, and I would treat you like gold and drink your bathwater. You never stood a chance, Beastman.
This
You're
man
doing too much on her Instagram posts. You just like and move on. The dude that just liked it and the dude that said, hey, cutie, those are the dudes that's hitting it. You
that's
not.
Right.
But go ahead, keep doing too much.
You're doing too much. He's sitting in the background, he doesn't belong to you.
I would treat you better. You're not Joe. I want to know.
I knew Joe was gonna get referenced tonight.
Shit all your nigga songs, bro. You couldn't just, talk to her. It's just like always your nigga ain't shit.
Oh man,
That's it, man.
Joe's a fucking hater.
Beastman is a simp. Hashtag.
true.
Nah, so okay, so do we have anything else on this? Because I do want to talk about Hawkeye for a little bit and that big reveal that nobody noticed.
Yeah,
So,
well, before we continue, before we move off this topic, has anyone continued watching the new?
Absolutely not. I only watched that first episode, but I do want to catch up with it. I know King didn't like it, but I do want to see it.
I'm a few episodes in, but this older iteration, this retelling of the older story, to me, totally outshines the new one. But of course, it's supposed to, because the new one's for kids, you know. So I couldn't watch both of them at the same time. I just couldn't do it. It was so washed down after you watch the Masters Universe Part 2 that, you know, this whole Power Rangers iteration kind of didn't do it.
Well, hold on. Gabe O says, "Can we get a new G.I. Joe movie?" No. How many times you want them to try that, Gabe O? It didn't work.
Yeah, the best thing you can
get
is Snake Eyes.
But bad things about Snake Eyes.
Yep. All you gotta do is just watch Snake Eyes. Forget the whole G.I. Joe-ness of it. Just watch it for the action scenes. It got great action scenes. They're fighting. It's good. Then you move on. The minute that they reference Joe, I'm like, get the hell out. It was over. It was over.
Yeah, they should. I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it. You want Bruce Willis to come back? All right. Anyway, yeah, man. It's like that franchise is so bad that The Rock couldn't save it. Think about that.
Indeed. Yeah.
All right. Let Zack Snyder make a G.I. Joe movie where everybody dies at the end.
Probably, yeah. But I would like to see that. Hey, he's the one that takes a simple premise and takes it to its dystopian conclusion. It always ends in a dystopian conclusion. So hey, there we go. Let's do it. Only the roaches survive after we're done here.
No, Zack Snyder will tell you that the Joes are secretly working for the Russians.
Yes.
The way yes. Zack Snyder moves. Okay, so let's talk about Hawkeye, because we actually haven't talked about it like at all.
No, we have not.
What do we think? Forget about episode 3. It will come to episode 3 in a second. What do we think about Hawkeye as a whole, as a show?
In general, I don't know. LeVar, you want to go first? Have you read the comics?
Have I read
any of Kate Bishop's comics?
Okay, I'm gonna say what I've always been saying. Don't nobody give a fuck about no Hawkeye. Motherfuckers shooting arrows and shit like that. You want to know how? That's a fact, because it's the lowest rated Marvel show. Period. Like, not that the reviews are bad, but people are talking about, because they're making about a girl or whatever and trying to.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's not because it's about a girl.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying people.
I'm saying the people saying that are full of shit.
People are full of shit. Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm correct in that nobody give a fuck about Hawkeye. You shoot arrows, dude. There's motherfucking superpower galactic shit going on, fucking universe splitting and multiverses and shit. And you think I give a shit about this grounded shooting arrows shit?
This man, all he needs to do is change his verbiage a little bit, and he's talking about invasion. But let's continue.
Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make you care about it right now. After saying
that, I'm still watching it, especially, with the hints that Vincent D'Onofrio is in it. I mean, that's been the talk since the second episode, because the characters they showed at the end, it was like this character is like directly associated with Kingpin in the comics. So that was like the first like Easter egg, and then you don't see him, but you hear his laugh, and it's very distinctly Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you do see his hand,
yes,
along with the laugh, and it's like your uncle, and she's a crime lord. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in here, because it makes sense that in New York. Cameo? Maybe he makes that cameo in No Way Home, which is gonna come out as soon as this show's done.
Well, okay. Before we go to the ties that bind. Before we go to the ties that bind, this show by itself in a vacuum. Screw the whole, I hear you, and for the most part, LeVar, I agree with you that of all the characters, he's the least interesting, right? He's the one that goes and pops aspirin after it's all said and done, while Thor is flying away. I get all that, but as a show by itself, what do you think of it?
I mean, so far, I'm watching it just because it's a Marvel show. I'm not super interested in it, but it's not a terrible show. I like the show. I feel it's well written. It's well acted. I mean, I really didn't like Hawkeye. So to me, some of it seemed like some of the characters were overacting, or just like it's just bad writing. And I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So the Russians don't feel like cartoons to you in this? The tracksuit mafia?
The tracksuit mafia? Or
yeah, I mean, you don't feel like they're using them too much for comedic effect? Or how do you feel about them retconning? How do you feel about them retconning him being deaf?
Mm-hmm.
Retconning him being deaf?
Yeah, because he's not been deaf in any of the other MCU stories.
And now they're trying to say that, but they're trying to say that it's a result of those other things.
That's just so they can show you flashbacks. You feel me? That's just so they can show you all this other shit that Hawkeye did. But then, I mean, because they're showing you it, but they're just explaining why he has this handicap now. It's just to make him seem like, okay, he's too old to be doing this, and just to have a reason to pass it down. He should be a family man.
I suppose. I don't like it though.
But I do agree with the idea that this is a bit of a retcon. It's almost like it's a framing device for this show specifically because they have a villain that also has that framing device. So they just kind of put this on him when this wasn't on him in the first place. There was no gradual progression. You didn't see this coming. It's almost like, well, we need him to be deaf. So he's deaf now. We're done.
Well,
after the whole freaking building dropped on him and he's the only one without superpowers.
They can justify it. They can literally justify it. They could have just showed
from the last movie. They didn't even have to show all this other shit. They could have just showed from Endgame. It's just they're like, well, yeah, the fuck, he don't got superpowers. Of course he's deaf.
True. But that's all you get. If that's where you're going with it, if you're trying to prove that he's the human among the group, and because of that he has scars,
that's his whole
all
thing.
He has is his deafness.
Well, okay. They
don't have nothing to do with his eyesight. They call him Hawkeye.
There's more. There's more than just Kingpin, though, right? What is this Avengers Locker 268 or Bunker 268?
Is it Infinity Stones?
No, doubtful.
Well, if you go and look at, I think it is Avengers number 268. It was a time travel story where Wolverine and Captain America had to team up to go do something in World War II. Right?
I think it's I had that cover. Let
me say this.
Where Wolverine and Captain America are together on the cover. I remember that.
What, Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow?
Yes, they had to go back and do something related to Black Widow.
Yep.
Right? So is Kingpin the only MCU character they're going to introduce?
That's why I was saying, are they going to introduce Charlie Cox Daredevil? Because as you had said in previous episodes, or just in conversation, that if they introduce a Marvel character in a Sony property, then Sony gets to use them. I think it's timed the way it is so that they can introduce Charlie Cox right before Spider-Man comes out.
That is an excellent point, sir. Even in a cameo.
Yes.
Yep. Because
then he can show up.
You can show him on the show, in the movie.
As Peter's lawyer.
Aha.
Okay.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Paul made a good point.
That was an excellent point that I didn't see that coming. That's an MCU reference from, okay, whatever. Now, another thing to point out, at the end of Black Widow, when you see Florence pew 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 with Yelena,
yep.
She meets with this chick from the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? and she talks about who killed your sister.
Yep.
Right? Doesn't she name drop Hawkeye?
I think she did, yeah.
Now,
she did. Yeah.
If that is the case, are we going to see her show up for that connection at the end of this? And perhaps, because the tracksuit mafia is working for Echo, but Echo is reporting to her uncle.
Every time you say the tracksuit mafia, I think you're joking. Like it's supposed to be a diss on them.
They are a joke.
Name is actually called the tracksuit.
And they are a joke, and they're used for comedic relief.
I know, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
So hold on. So the tracksuit mafia reports to Echo, who is getting her own show, by the way.
Yes.
Echo's uncle is the Kingpin, which will bring us Daredevil, but they were hired to go and get this. Was it a ring? I don't know if they wanted the sword, but they were supposed to get a ring or a watch, right? They wanted a watch from that auction, right? So why is Kingpin looking for the watch? And perhaps Yelena is using the Kingpin to get, like, maybe the Kingpin is working with Yelena to get that, to draw out the Hawkeye. I'm just saying, we're just throwing out theories here.
The threads being yeah. I haven't seen enough to really go there.
Clearly that dog ate the watch and is going to shit it out just when it's needed in the show. But the good thing is there's only 6 episodes, so there's only 3 left.
I still need an explanation from you guys. What do you guys think of Kate Bishop as a character? Because I can tell you, as I've read a couple episodes, I've read a couple comics of Kate Bishop, and for better or worse, she is the perfect cast. Like, it's almost like they drew her from what's her face? I forget her name now, but they drew her from her. Like, there was nobody better to do this, for better or for worse. What do you guys think?
I'm not really sold on Haley Steinfeld. But fun fact, Haley Steinfeld is V in Arcane. So
yes,
the
I know
boxer,
that. Yeah.
red hair.
Yep.
So
no, but I have to be honest. Like, there's a snarkiness.
How about is Kate Bishop in the Avengers expansion for Hawkeye?
Yes.
Does it? How does it feel? How do you feel there?
Her part of the game.
The thing that pisses me off about the game is everyone, like, all the characters are a who's who of voice actors, so you know who she is in that. You may not have even played it. All I have to do is say who's the voice actor, and you have maybe 3 or 4 in your head, and you're right with one of them. It's always the same. So okay. I wasn't a big fan. At least the way they specifically drew her, I wasn't a big fan. Like in the, I will give them credit though. In the show, they really channel the Kate Bishop from the comics. The scars on her face constantly, like all of that is so the comic. Like, very snarky. Haley Steinfeld is basically playing herself because
she just seems like a rich asshole.
But that's what Kate Bishop is. 100%. That's what she is. That's why I said for better or for worse. Because some people won't like it, some people will like it, but what Haley Steinfeld is doing is literally 100% what the original Kate Bishop character is.
Bunty, what's good?
Bunty in the spot. Yes. Welcome, good sir. Yeah, so we'll see where it goes. She has the potential to become very good at this, but I don't think she's a likable character in the comics. Like,
so here's my problem with the show. I'm not sold on the tone of it. I get that they're trying to do it as a Christmas thing, but the tone is almost too lighthearted for me. Yeah, and I feel like
the musical numbers,
it's not the musical numbers. I just feel like it could be.
Was it cringe enough for you?
It doesn't have to be dark and dour. That's not what I'm asking for. But I don't feel any stakes.
It's too diehard for you right now?
No, but it's not Die Hard enough, right? Die Hard was still edgy. This is not that. And Die Hard 3 with Sam Jackson is one of my favorite films of all time.
That's top. Don't say its name.
I wish what's that? Die Hard with a Vengeance?
With a Vengeance, yeah.
Yes. I wish that was the tone of this.
Well, but it looks like it's still escalating fun. To that point. It's escalating to that point. It's just too short. Thing.
Yeah, buddy cop, still fun, but serious when it needs to be. This is just real Christmassy and Disney-fied, more so than all the other Disney shows.
Okay, Steve, let me explain to you why. You know why, Steve? It's effing December. What the F do you expect? Of course it's going to be Christmassy. It's all a part of the plan.
I get it.
Well, but I do understand where you're coming from, everyone.
I'm just saying I don't care about everything that's happening. I don't need the world to be ending.
Without the side of it. Like the Christmassy stuff is good as long as they would give you shocking moments of edginess. And they've kind of dulled those
only 4 episodes in. Let it progress. Let it bump.
It's only 6 episodes for the whole show.
Well, we're
halfway through it.
The next 3.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Cool. But like I said, we'll see where it goes. I'm just saying the tone hasn't drawn me in, and I don't find myself caring about anything that is happening. And I feel like that's a problem. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You like how Kate Bishop dropped that Easter egg showing the original costume with the hawk eyes?
I only watch it cool because it's free.
Oh, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, LeVar, you haven't seen episode 3 yet, but they actually make fun of why Hawkeye isn't wearing his costume.
His goofy, purple costume with the hawk in the ears. That's right.
Because she's like, you got to work on your branding. And he's like, my whole job is to stay conspicuous. She's like, everyone in the world knows who you are. So you failed at that.
Indeed. See, that's the part of it that I like, the Kate Bishop part that I like, because she's really, snarky and, Everborn Grinch Saga.
Oh, sounds like I'm going to have to change my name on Twitter. I'm going to have to borrow
bugging all that.
Miserable.
All right. So do we have anything else on this? Because I do want to share a link in the chat.
No, go ahead.
All right. So are we good on this?
I think we should keep watching it and revisit this at the end of the season.
Yes. Well, I'm just watching this is a problem. I'm not watching for the story. I'm watching for what the reveals are. And
yes, I'm watching for Daredevil.
But that's a problem.
Kingpin.
All right.
And
so I do want to take a moment to say, like, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please hit the like button and please, tell your friends about this. But I'm putting a link in the chat, and this is to a GoFundMe for a community member, Optimus Code. He is going through some serious health issues. He had a stroke, and they're trying to deal with the medical expenses behind that. So if you can, if you haven't donated, if you can, and if you can't, just share it out, and that's enough. But I want to. Until our brother gets better, let's share this out as much as we all can. So I just wanted to take a minute to do that. And yes, but money.
Give that too.
Yes. And I'm going to put another link in the chat, but this is way less important. There are only 4 days left in this Kickstarter campaign thing that we're doing. So if you have money, don't give it to me first. Don't go to this campaign first. Go to Optimus Code's thing first. And if you have anything left over, then come check out this Kickstarter campaign that we are putting on, because there's only 4 days left. And I want to hit the stretch goal so that everybody can get upgraded to hardcover books. But again, much less important, do the other thing first. And only after you do that, don't donate to the campaign unless you have first donated to the GoFundMe. Okay,
but do both if you can.
Yes, but code first, and then the campaign. Optimus Code first, then the campaign.
Brought to you by Everborn Saga. Get all your merch, buy your T-shirts, buy your books. Your kids will love it.
All those things.
Today's mathematics. Get yourself a sweatshirt.
Yes. All right. So speaking of today's mathematics, Mr. Johnson, why don't you tell the fine folks where they can find you, good sir?
You can find me at LeVar.Johnson, or LeVar F. Johnson on Instagram and, Twitter.
You should put that in your name here so people can just see that and then.
Yes. Yeah. But you control the graphics.
No, I'm saying your name. Don't put your name. You do that when you first sign in.
Oh, okay. I could do that? I never knew.
Get your shit together, sir.
Get your shit together, good sir.
All right. Tell them about your website there, man. Today's Mathematics. Come on.
Yeah. Check out today's mathematics.com and get yourself a sweatshirt.
Look at that. Look, stand up a little bit. Show them what you got there.
Today's Mathematics, Check it out. Get yourself one.
Very cool.
.math on Instagram.
Today's .math. Okay. And Mr. K. Asante.
Yeah, well, you can find me, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those places, TKO Asante. You can find me this Saturday, actually at 1:00. We have the fine folks of the Talk Story podcast coming to join us on the Gaming Circle podcast. If you don't know the folks from Talk Story.
From the Down Under.
Hawaii. Yeah, they're from Hawaii, not the Down Under. That's Australia.
Not the Down Under. Okay.
They very good brothers who basically have very, very great vibes. They've been within the community for a little while now. They've caught their stride and they're doing really big things. So I thought I'd have them on the show, have a chat with them, get to know them a bit better, and we'll be doing some reflections this Saturday of all the crazy things that we've been doing in 2021. On the Real being one of them. So if you're able to come and check us out, we'd appreciate it. You can find us, myself and Everborn. You'll see us on Twitter. When we go live, you will know.
Hey, I want to one thing while you're talking, not to cut you off, which is super rude. But so I apologize. But I'm 2 subs away from 300.
Oh, come on now! Somebody hit that subscribe button. Do that immediately. Come on now. There's no reason why he's 2 subs away.
Everybody watching, if you're watching.
If you're not subscribed,
if you haven't subscribed, then do so right now because 2 subs away. Come on now. That's very easy. But yes,
we're on the road to 1,000, so we can start getting these super chats.
We can start monetizing this, man.
Yeah, man.
But no, so thank you guys so much for checking us out. We still keep getting new subscribers and new likes and new follows all the time. I keep getting messages on Twitter and all that about people who watch our stuff and appreciate our stuff. So I appreciate y'all. And for those who may not have been sharing it, go ahead and share it to a friend. Share it to a buddy, get people on the channel and subscribing. We appreciate everybody that continues to follow and be a part of the community. So thank you guys.
Yeah, man. And as you know, I'm Everborn Saga everywhere, everbornsaga.com if you want to get the merch and the books and things like that. Everborn Cat, right?
Get your hoodies.
I do it every day.
All your merch.
But Everborn Saga on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, can you call it Facebook anymore? Is it Meta? Whatever.
No, it's still called Facebook. It's just Meta.
But Everborn Saga on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, all that stuff. And we will be back next week. We will be on PTG. That's Primetime Gaming on Mondays. We are taking off 2 weeks from now because that's December 16th. And that is my birthday, everybody. So I'm going to try to enjoy that day. And I think I'm watching Spider-Man that day. So I'll come back and report after that. But like I said, those links from the chat, check those out. I'll put it in the description of the video for people who catch this later. But just check out the especially Code's link. That's our brother there. And check out the campaign because you only got 4 days left, going on 3 days. So, and I want to give everybody that free upgrade. So that's all she wrote, folks. I think that's it. Great show, everybody. Thank you. Gabe, you always here. Scythe Marks, you always here. Splendiferous, appreciate you. Neo Mental. Logical was in here a little while. Pixel Slapper. Everybody. Great show. Live Wire Games. all that jazz. But on that note, we are out of here. Peace.